and flakes of skin were always scattered about her shoulders. Her shoulders had fashioned themselves into a hump, and her head flopped down to her hollow chest. Her darting eyes, however, remained sharp and clear, and her hearing had not waned. It was rumoured fearfully that she could hear a whisper from any distance. No one could recall exactly when she had set up her home, supposedly having done so with the help of demons, and her age was speculated as being between 80 and over a century. Always in black, with her bonnet ribbons flapping loose, Tabby was not unlike some monstrous rook chewing on 2 fat, dangling worms. A gruesome-looking companion, but she was a woman whose heart was big enough to take in a fallen woman. Sarah was shunned by most, and the few who had taken pity on her at her husband's death were disappointed over her refusal to denounce Titus Kivell, despite his evil deeds. Sarah accepted the contempt. It did not hurt her. Titus's brutality and the terrible things he'd done to her, and the fact that he had tried to murder his grown-up son, had robbed her of all need to fit in. She had been left without hope. She existed, that was all, and cared not if that existence came to an end at any moment. She felt tainted and beyond redemption, for the dreadful thing was she had loved Titus deeply, and part of her still did, and grieved for him. She wasn't fit to be near good and ordinary folk. Isolation she prized, and that was what she got, even at work as a bowmaiden at the Carncroft copper mine. Few people spoke to her, and she never made an opening comment, and with her bowed and shut-off manner, she was, as she intended to be, easy to overlook. There was one thing for which she drew admiration and jealousy: the remarkable, raven-haired beauty that had led to her downfall, made all the more appealing to men by her unreachable aloofness and the echoes of her sorrow. When the thick walls of the stuffy shack were heated by the fire, the atmosphere could become overbearing. Her throat parchment dry, Sarah rose from the high tapestry stool and went to the pearl-ware harvest jug on the bench table. She sipped the water, which she collected every day from a former wine cask fed by a chute underneath a little trickling waterfall off nearby rocks. She moved the chute away from the cask each night, so there would be no overflow. "Would you like a drink of water, Tabby? Or I could make you some cocoa. Then I think I'll slip outside for a breath of air. It stopped raining and the wind has dropped at last." The stormy weather of the last 2 days had meant no surface work on the ore-dressing floors at the mine. It meant added hardship, especially for families, for if there was no work, there were no wages. "I know it's bitter cold, but I'll be sure to wrap up well." It was nice that Tabby tended to mother her and tried to convince her she was as worthy as anyone else. The latter fell on deaf ears. Sarah had nursed her own brain-damaged mother until her death. The rest of her family, an aunt and a younger brother and sister, had deserted her after Titus's death, moving 3 miles away to Red Ruth, with the help of money offered by her rich mother-in-law, Tempest Kivell. Sarah had refused the same proposal to make a fresh start. She'd rather starve than take charity off a Kivell, even though Tempest maintained the Kivells held a lifelong responsibility to her. Tabby did not reply. Sarah had not looked at her for some time and did so now. Chills trailed up her spine. Tabby was not apt to answer quickly, but she'd not heard Sarah at all. Her head was thrown back as far as it would go, and her gaze, usually shrewd and watchful, was on nothing. She was in a trance, and seemed to be in the grip of some awful vision. From the contortion of her hawkish features, it was likely a calamitous premonition for someone. Sarah had witnessed this before. Tabby would never recount what she saw.